I am Michael. I'm an admissions officer at London Interdisciplinary School, LIS. Thanks for having us for the Global Hidden Gems Online Open Day. We're really happy to be here. Talk a little bit about what we offer and take some questions at the end. So I'll let Nelly introduce herself.
Yeah,
Um,
hi everybody. Thank you for joining us today. So my name's Nellie. I'm the recruitment officer at the London Interdisciplinary School. Essentially, it means that my role involves speaking to prospective students, supporting offer holders, essentially answering any questions that you've got about the university, and helping you decide if it's the right institution to support your educational goals.
Great. Thank you, Nelly. And I'm Michael. I'm the admissions officer at London LIS. So I handle all things application related from basically from when students decide to apply to receiving their offer or their decision. So yeah, I'm very happy to be here. We will I'll outline the agenda for our presentation today. So, Nelly, I'll give you a little bit of an introduction to LIS, explain what we do in a bit more detail, talk in a bit more the specifics about the curriculum and mention student projects. And then I'll talk a little bit about our year abroad program, which we're introducing this year, and sort of a bit about the student experience. And of course, careers, options, our futures, what our students tend to do after they've graduated from LIS, and the admissions process itself, and a little bit of time for Q&A at the end. So I'll pass it over to Nelly, who will introduce you to LIS and what we do.
That's great. Thank you very much, Michael. Yeah, the London Interdisciplinary School is quite a new institution. We've been open for a few years now. We've graduated a BAS cohort, as well as several masters cohorts. Essentially, we were set up by our founders because they thought that traditional educational models were starting to become quite outdated, and not suited to meeting the challenges of the modern world, which is obviously changing very rapidly, and becoming a lot more complex. So, what we focus on is, well, the clue is in the name, it's interdisciplinary study. So, obviously, there are some courses if you're interested in engineering or medicine or nursing, it obviously makes sense to do an engineering, medicine, or nursing degree. But we think a lot of students would benefit from a more interdisciplinary approach to their studies. Essentially, what we do is we look at problem solving. So our students will look at issues such as AI ethics, or the climate crisis, or urban design for the futures, that sort of thing. And they will look at it through the lens of different disciplinary perspectives. So you wouldn't just be doing, say, an economics, you would also be doing cognitive science, anthropology, all these things. And you would also get a grounding in scientific method and how to study the arts and humanities as well. Um, Michael, just to make you aware, that's showing the full presenter view, the side notes as well. Thank you. Um, but yeah, that this next statistic is one that we're really proud of. 89% of our BAS graduates, 15 months after graduation, were in skilled employment or further study, which is a fantastic statistic, and it is one that we really like to shout about because currently the sector average in the UK is 15 months after graduation, 61% of graduates are in skilled work or further study. So we have massively exceeded that. This is the range of programs that we have on offer. At undergraduate level, you can do a Bachelor of Arts and Science or the Bachelor of Arts and Science with a year abroad, which has launched recently, and Michael will get into that a little bit later, with sort of the options for study abroad. We also offer three master's programs. So there's the Master of Arts and Science in Culture and Complexity, Master of Arts and Science in Education Futures, or the Master of Arts and Science science in AI and collective intelligence. We do also offer an MBA, which we've welcomed our first cohort into recently. As you know, that's an 18-month course. It's a little bit different to a traditional master's. And then we also offer a host of professional development short courses as well. Okay, this is a overview of the faculty that we have working at LIS. If you want a bit of information on their sort of educational backgrounds and where they've worked previously, you can find that on the Meet the Team section of our website. I'd recommend having a deep dive because we have faculty members and staff members who've come from some really impressive institutions previously, like Columbia, University of Oxford, University College London. And these people have all joined us because they believe in the LIS mission. They believe in interdisciplinarity and not being siloed into a single discipline subject. But you can see the interests and specialisms that people have spans a really wide range of different disciplines, from cognitive science to neuroscience, biochemistry, history, literature, environmental economics. There's loads on there, so it's a really diverse and intellectually stimulating faculty. We have also set up the LAS network. So these are organisations that we have a relationship with that either come to us to do workshops and talks for our students, and for our bachelor students, we offer internships with, or at least we will try and broker internships with these partners. So there's some very recognisable names on there. Innocent Smoothies, PwC, the NHS, Goldman Sachs. So they span a really wide range of different sectors, and there's some really globally recognisable names on there. And we really do try and do everything we can to help our students gain as much employment, skills, and networking opportunities as we can during their degrees. Okay, so broadly across the programs that we offer, this is how they will be split. So you would do problems, so that would be looking at the sort of issues that I mentioned earlier, the climate crisis, AI ethics, urban design. And then there's the methods module. So that's where you learn the skills, the tools and approaches to be able to be a truly interdisciplinary thinker. So that might be learning how to code, how to do sort of statistics and data science, how to conduct scientific experimentation, but also how to read literature, how to analyze media, and how to analyze and archive the visual arts. There's also a really strong focus on research. So at bachelor's level, you would do a research project at the end of each year of your study. In your final year, this would be your capstone project, so similar to a dissertation. And at master's level, at the end of the course, you would also do a capstone project. So that's an opportunity for you to showcase the skills that you've developed over the course of the program, but also choose an independent research area that you feel really passionately about and are really interested in. And yeah, just to sort of round off the introduction to LIS, this sort of sums up the ethos that we have. It was Einstein who said we can't solve the problems using the same level of thinking that we used when we created them. We have to think differently, and that's what we're trying to do at LIS. Okay, this is another sort of thing that we really place a premium on at LAS. So our problem-based learning approach focuses on three mind shifts that can help us to understand and address complex problems with a different level of thinking from the one that created them, as Einstein said. So between separate and interconnected, between looking at single issues, multiple, and instead of being rigid, we want to be agile. So these are some examples of the methods that you would be sort of learning to use and deploy in your own research. So statistics, ethnography, visual literacy, historical contextualization, and everybody will learn to code as well on the program. Okay, and just we have some examples here of some of the previous research projects that our students have undertaken. So nature connectedness was one of them. This looked at why we are all losing touch with nature and why it matters to us. So the methods that they used were a mixture of descriptive statistics, participatory workshops, and qualitative surveying. So the research projects we ask our students to use a qualitative method and at least a quantitative method as well. So you're sort of balancing both sides of the degree. This is an example of a really high achieving capstone project. So this was by one of our maths students, James McGarry. He was looking at semantic frame evocation in the history of British political thought, which is quite a mouthful. Essentially, he developed a computational method for understanding semantic framing through a large corpora of historical text. We really like to shout about James because he was since accepted onto a PhD program in digital history at the University of Cambridge. Obviously, a really world-leading institution, so it's a great reflection of the skills and the proficiency that you develop at LAS and can take forward into the world. So just to sum up, this is what the capstone will do. It's a year-long independent research project. You would be engaging with a real-world problem of your choosing. You would combine at least one qualitative and one quantitative method, and you would put out a written research paper and also some sort of public output. So that might involve presenting your paper to an audience, trying to get your paper published, or you might turn it into something different as well. So you might turn it into a model, a piece of code, an app, a website. We've had students turn their work. My favorite one was someone turn their work into a board game to sort of illustrate their research. So they let other students and members of the public play, and that's how they sort of learned and engaged with it. So it really can be sort of anything you would like.
Yeah.
Okay. In addition to the problems, methods, and research, we also offer coaching and student support. So the coaching sessions are small groups of students with an academic advisor, and that's where you'll really engage with the learning that you've been doing on the course. So you would be sort of discussing
Yeah,
the
great.
work that you've been doing, the problems or the blockages that you've come up against, and you would sort of rely on the collective intelligence of the room to help you develop. You would, ask other people questions. You would weigh in on their work. It's a really fruitful exercise. People do really bring a lot to it and get a lot out of it. And we do have a fantastic student support team at LIS as well, who are there to
Yeah,
develop a personal learning plan for each of you, and also support you again with any of the sort of hardships that you might encounter in your personal life or in your studies. Yeah. So yeah, to sum up, there we go. Coaching is really about consolidation, building new connections, and pulling together your work in a coherent way. Okay. Here we go. Yeah, so student support can also offer you advice on DSA, so that is the Disabled Students Allowance. They'll create a support plan, speak to you about reasonable adjustments that can be made so that the study at LAS remains accessible. They also offer access to counselling, safeguarding support, and you would, of course, have support from your academic tutor as well. And now just a bit on the student experience. So we have a total of 50 students in our current Basque cohort that started in 2025, representing 16 different nationalities, and they have studied 45 different subjects at college or high school. So everyone's come from a really different and varied academic background. So don't worry if you focus more on the sciences or more on the humanities. We do see that is the case for our students. So there's a real mix there. We offer a great lot of different activities outside of your studies as well. So we host events, entertainment events, but also guest lectures and networking events. We've had students go to conferences, we have multiple societies, and we also run the LAS Late program, which my colleague Oscar manages. That's a series of talks from different speakers in various different sectors or various different academic institutions who come to speak on a interdisciplinary topic. The most recent one that I went to was a mathematician and an English literature scholar speaking about the maths in Shakespeare and how do we understand Shakespeare through numbers, which was really interesting.
Great, thank you so much, Nelly. I'll take over for the last section. Yeah, so this year we're launching a new year abroad program for our undergrads, which we're really excited about. We've secured agreements with 5 universities. I'll just go through them now. Utrecht in the Netherlands, Lyon, France, which is a very prestigious business school in Lyon. Um, we've got SMU in Singapore, University of Amsterdam in the Netherlands, and University del Desarrollo Rollo in Chile. So yeah, students have the opportunity to study 1 year abroad with one of these organizations, and we're also taking some students for exchange programs here, so they'll have the option to study the academic year at LIS or for a term. Um, and yes, it's important to talk about futures as well. So Nellie's wonderfully outlined the student experience and the curriculum and what it's like to study at LAS. But a lot of people want to know what happens to our students afterwards. What support do we give in terms of facilitating their journey post graduation? Um, so we have a very high percentage of our students in skilled work and our further study 50 months after graduation. So 89% of our students, again, are in skilled work or further study. This is well above the sort of national average. We have similar rates to Oxbridge in terms of percentages. The sector average is 61% of students after graduation are in skilled worker further studies. So we sort of are very proud of our ability to secure students good opportunities, good employment opportunities, or opportunities for further study after leaving LIS. Um, we offer part of the reason for that is because we offer a lot of really comprehensive career support and employability skills. So we focus a lot on curriculum integration. The skills that we teach that Nelly mentioned, sort of qualitative or quantitative skills like programming, data analysis. Are skills that are very sought after by professional work and industry work. So our curriculum is integrated quite heavily with real practical employable skills. Um, and we, alongside our curriculum coaching, we do career coaching as well. So students have the opportunity to sort of really think and get advice and guidance from career professionals in the field that they're interested in. And also coaching from our alumni as well. So we have quite an engaged alumni community, albeit small. Again, we opened in 2021, so we're still growing our alumni community, but they are very engaged and willing to come back and we have two staff who are alumni at LIS, I think. So yeah. Um, yeah, they offer great supports to
Okay.
support students. Um, we have a very robust internship program. So the partnerships that Nelly mentioned, we can secure we secure internships for students in their second and third year, I believe. I'll talk a couple of through some examples of those in a second, but yeah, some of them are brokered by LAS, some of them are some of them are established by the student themselves through their own
Oh,
network and through
tolong
the network
kalau
of the
nenek ngomong
staff,
stok tak tok tok
faculty.
di sini piro kali aku sembunyi tapi ceritanya.
Um, Yeah, so the we also offer visa sponsorship. So we've been awarded visa sponsorship powers recently. So we can yeah, we can sponsor visas for international students, and we have uh, a high the internship employer NPS score. Basically, that means that the intern providers sort of are would recommend our students in future as workers as staff. Um, so some examples of our previous students. I'll just go back one sec. Numel is currently working as a data analyst at Goldman Sachs. She's focused heavily on business analytics and behavioral science. She interned at Arbor Education, which is a ed tech company that was brokered by LIS, and Zoe was established by her herself. She took her own initiative to secure that. And she focused a lot on what is the role of organizational culture in the sustainable growth of edtech scale-ups. So during her first internship with Arbor, she noticed um, she observed a lot of the kind of some of the commonalities amongst the organizational culture, and then applied that to her capstone project. James, we mentioned before. Nelly wonderfully explained semantic frame evocation. I'm that if anyone knows how difficult, I'm sure you do, difficult it is to secure PhD funding at the minute, especially in the humanities. You can see how impressive this is. So I've heard from faculty he's sort of changed the way historical analysis can be done, and that was through his exposure to interdisciplinarity. Um, he was able to apply cognitive linguistics and machine learning to historical analysis. Um, so in terms of admissions, um, we have quite a sort of open admissions process in terms of we don't actually demand or ask for any specific entry requirements, be it academic. Some of our mask programs require professional experience or MBA, but in terms of our undergrad, we don't ask for any specific grades. But we are a high tariff provider, and the course is very rigorous. It requires a lot of academic work. The students exhibit a lot of academic potential. But we also ask for people who are intellectually curious because the what LIS offers is sort of quite unconventional in many ways. It requires you to be open to understanding other perspectives, be open to adopting new skill sets and new mentalities. And also fundamentally, our curriculum is based around addressing complex problems. So be it AI or global economic change or inequality. Part of what drives students to study here is they are passionate about solving these real world problems. So while we don't, again, have any specific requirements, the graph on the right shows that most of our offer holders have around AAA or above, and we're based in London, so AA is the A level grades. If you're not familiar with that, or you're thinking of other academic qualifications, it would be equivalent to around a 36 or 38 in the International Baccalaureate. So just to demonstrate again that we are a high tariff provider, and it's an academically rigorous course, but we are open to accepting people with less conventional routes through education. So the application process, you basically apply directly via the website. Um, And then we have a selection day for our undergrads. So we organize selection days quite frequently. We interview candidates, and the interview kind of uh, is carried out in two parts. So we have a sort of mindset interview where we just want to get to know the candidate. We want to understand their background, their motivations, and then they have a second part of the interview where they're given some assessments to do, some qualitative and quantitative analysis. And essentially, that just lets us establish whether the applicant is the right fit for the course, whether they're going to excel or whether we suspect they might struggle. So yeah, we take our admissions process. It's quite rigorous and quite detailed. For the mask, the that's our postgraduate courses, which Nelly has outlined. We require a critical reflection. So the applicant will choose a topic that interests them and write sort of between 500 to 750 words on the topic of their choosing. And then they'll receive a decision. So applications are considered as well on a rolling basis until clearing on the 2nd of July. Um, and yes, thank you all for listening. Apologies for the minor technical hiccups and getting used to Zoom again and figuring out the slideshow. I was kind of skipping ahead some slides there preemptively and yeah. So thank you all for listening. We're happy to take any questions now for the remainder of our time and yeah.
Hi, thank you so much for sharing the info from the London Interdisciplinary School. I think just I found the program really interesting actually.
Hmm.
And so maybe can you give me like a little bit more context on how is this program different from a traditional degree setting? You know, like usually students will have to choose like one specific
Hmm.
subject when they are going to university, but this is nothing like that. So maybe can you explain more into that? And also if students is not choosing like one traditional subject, like how are the students assessed in this
Hmm.
case?
Yeah, I can answer the first part. Yeah, so essentially, so we're kind of not trying to silo students into specific monodisciplinarity. So the way higher education is generally is you study one subject for 3, 4 years
Mm-hmm.
and you become specialized in that subject, but what LIS does is it bases its curriculum around, again, these complex problems. So not necessarily particular disciplines or skill sets. So if a student is interested in inequality or global environmental change, then we will teach them the faculty who come from a variety of academic disciplines like data science or philosophy or social science and economics. They will teach them this necessary skills in order to carry out a project of their choosing in that topic. So yeah, they'll learn coding, they'll learn how to analyze data, and they'll learn how to maybe interpret text, or we also, teach visual communication. So, yeah, I think that to summarize your question, that's kind of what the main purpose is, I think, is addressing these complex problems and equipping students effectively in order to carry out research in those areas, Nelly.
Yeah. I was going to say as well, I think we've had some students think that we're similar to like a liberal arts degree where you
Mm,
would a
yeah.
couple of subjects. The idea is we're interdisciplinary. So instead of liberal arts where you would kind of study, say, English literature, social sciences, and something else in isolation, our course pulls together the different
Mm.
subject areas that you're looking at to study a problem. So you wouldn't be doing them in isolation. You'd be sort of making a mishmash of the different disciplines and also using methods from the sciences as well as the humanities to pull together your work. So yeah, it's different in that way as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We have a question in the chat as well from Veronica. So, do you offer application waivers? We do offer scholarships with a tuition, which would come in the form of a tuition fee waiver. So they're available for our mask programs. Anyone who applies before June the 6th will be automatically considered for those. And we'll take into account sort of your application holistically. We do offer scholarships in the form of tuition fee waivers for undergraduate as well. The deadline for automatic consideration for those has unfortunately passed, though. That was on March 30th.